Today, we're tackling one of the most complex and debated films of recent years, Christopher Nolan's Tenet. Whether you loved it, hated it, or just didn't get it, there's no denying that Tenet is a cinematic enigma that demands multiple viewings. So buckle up as we unravel the mystery of why Tenet is a masterpiece and why you need to watch it again and again, and maybe a few more times after that. Let's start with the heart of Tenet, time inversion. Unlike traditional time travel, where characters move linearly through time, time inversion allows characters to move backward through time while everything else moves forward. This concept alone sets Tenet apart from your typical sci-fi fare. Nolan didn't just create a movie with a unique twist, he created an entirely new way of experiencing time. The protagonist, played by John David Washington, navigates a world where actions can be reversed and events can be manipulated in both directions.
How can it move before I touch it?
From your point of view, you caught it, but from the bullet's point of view, you dropped it.
But cause comes before effect.
No, that's just the way we see time.
Understanding this requires a mental shift. Instead of thinking in straight lines, you have to start thinking in loops and paradoxes. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while it's being scrambled in real time. But it's not just the concept of time inversion that makes Tenet complex. The plot structure itself is a labyrinth of intertwined timelines. The movie demands your full attention. Blink, and you'll miss a crucial detail.
I am so confused right now.
Nolan is a maestro of non-linear storytelling, and if you thought Memento, The Prestige, Inception, and Interstellar were mind-bending, Tenet is something else. I mean, it is something magical, confusing, and complex.
We live in a twilight world. We live in a twilight world.
Nolan's unique approach to narrative structure has always pushed the boundaries of conventional storytelling. However, Tenet practically demands multiple viewings to fully appreciate its intricate design. In Memento, Nolan introduced us to a world where time flows in reverse and forward simultaneously. The protagonist's short-term memory loss is mirrored in the film's structure, with one sequence moving backward in color and another forward in black and white.
Oh, I'm chasing this guy. No, he's chasing me.
This narrative technique doesn't just tell a story. It immerses you in the protagonist's fragmented reality, forcing you to piece together the puzzle just as he does. Fast forward to The Prestige, where Nolan weaves a tale of two rival magicians through a series of non-linear sequences. The film's structure reflects the illusions and deceptions at its heart, constantly shifting back and forth in time to reveal twists and turns that keep you on the edge of your seat.
No, wait, I'm not...
Just like a magic trick, it's only in the final reveal that all the seemingly disparate threads come together in a way that makes perfect sense. Then we have Inception, which takes the concept of non-linear storytelling to the dream world. Time operates differently within each layer of dreams, creating a multi-layered narrative where minutes in one level equate to hours in another. The dream within a dream structure not only serves the plot, but also deepens the thematic exploration of reality and perception.
We're dreaming?
You're actually in the middle of the workshop right now, sleeping. This is your first lesson. Stay calm.
In Interstellar, Nolan plays with the relativistic effects of space travel on time, giving us a heart-wrenching story where characters experience time at drastically different rates. This non-linear approach is not just a narrative choice, but a fundamental aspect of the story's emotional impact.
Because Rise said.
As characters age years while others only experience hours, the plot's structure highlights the sacrifices and the profound sense of loss inherent in their journey. But Tenet takes all these explorations of time and throws them into a blender. Here, Nolan introduces time inversion, where characters and objects can move backward through time while others move forward. This concept is not merely a plot device, but the core mechanic that drives every action and decision in the film. It's a narrative so complex that it requires you to rethink your understanding of cause and effect, making it both a visual and intellectual feast. Nolan's previous films primed us for complex, non-linear narratives, but Tenet takes it to a whole new level, combining elements from all his earlier works into a single, cohesive, and extraordinarily challenging masterpiece. As you can tell, I am a fan. To fully appreciate the plot, you have to understand the temporal pincer movements where future and present timelines converge to execute a mission. This structure means the film is designed to be viewed multiple times. Each viewing uncovers new layers and details that you might have missed the first time. Here's where it gets really fascinating. Watching Tenet is like a psychological exercise. The film engages the brain in a way that few movies do. According to cognitive scientists, our brains are wired to seek patterns and make sense of narratives. Tenet plays with these instincts, presenting a puzzle that our minds are eager to solve. Christopher Nolan himself has said, "The film is a puzzle, and it's meant to be a puzzle." This is why, after watching Tenet, many viewers feel the urge to immediately re-watch it. It's our brain's way of trying to decode the information and fit the pieces together. This kind of engagement is rare in cinema, making Tenet a unique psychological experience. Nolan's inspiration for Tenet can be traced back to his fascination with the works of Jorge Luis Borges, whose stories often explored time and reality in mind-bending ways. Nolan's filmography, from Memento to Inception, shows his long-standing interest in the nature of time and perception. But what makes Tenet stand out even more is its place in cinematic history. Now let's talk about Nolan's intent. He's a director known for meticulous planning and execution. With Tenet, Nolan didn't just want to entertain, he wanted to challenge. He's described the film as a temporal thriller, pushing the boundaries of how we perceive time in cinema. The meticulous detail in the film's production is staggering, from the choreography of the inverted fight scenes to the practical effects used for the film's numerous action sequences. Every element is crafted to support the film's complex narrative structure. Nolan's direction also emphasizes the experiential aspect of the film. He's not just telling a story, he's creating an experience that immerses the audience in a world where time behaves differently. This immersive quality is why Tenet benefits so much from repeat viewings. Each time you watch, you become more attuned to the film's unique logic and rhythms. And we can't forget about the sound and music. Ludwig Göransson's score for Tenet is as intricate and mind-bending as the film itself. The music plays with temporal themes using reverse sounds and palindromic structures to complement the film's narrative. The sound design, too, is a critical component. Nolan has always used sound to immerse the audience, and in Tenet, this is taken to the next level. The disorienting soundscapes help to place the viewer in the protagonist's shoes, experiencing the confusion and complexity of the inverted world firsthand. Let's talk characters. The performances in Tenet are crucial to grounding the film's complex narrative. John David Washington as the protagonist brings a combination of intensity and charm, guiding the audience through the maze of time inversion. The relationship between the protagonist and Neil is particularly noteworthy. On the surface, it's a classic buddy dynamic, but as the layers of the narrative peel back, we discover the true depth of their connection. This revelation adds a powerful emotional punch to the film's climax, making subsequent viewings even more rewarding as you catch the subtle hints and foreshadowing.
Hey, you never did tell me who recruited you, Neil.
Haven't you guessed by now? You did. Only not when you thought. You have a future in the past. Years ago for me, years from now for you.
You've known me for years.
For me, I think this is the end of a beautiful friendship.
But for me, it's just the beginning.
We get up to some stuff. You're gonna love it. You'll see.
Now let's get nerdy with some science. The concept of time inversion might sound like pure sci-fi, but it's rooted in real scientific theories. Nolan consulted with physicists to ground his fantastical elements in plausible science. The film's portrayal of entropy and thermodynamics plays a significant role.
Wanted it to have bigger possibilities.
Time travel? No. Inversion.
The film deals with this concept of inversion, which is the idea that the entropy of an object or a person could be reversed. It's very much cinematic. It's something that you have to see on the screen to fully engage with.
In simple terms, entropy is a measure of disorder, and in Tenet, inversion is linked to reversing entropy. While the science is highly speculative, it provides a fascinating framework that adds depth to the narrative. This scientific grounding makes Tenet not just a visual and narrative puzzle, but an intellectual one as well. The more you understand the science behind it, the more you appreciate the intricacies of the film's plot. Watching Tenet isn't just an intellectual exercise, it's a psychological journey. The film's complexity forces viewers to engage on multiple levels, emotionally, intellectually, and perceptually. This kind of engagement is rare in cinema, making Tenet a unique experience. Studies in cognitive psychology suggest that challenging narratives can enhance cognitive engagement and memory retention. In other words, the more complex the story, the more your brain works to understand and remember it. This is why Tenet sticks with you long after the credits roll and why multiple viewings are so rewarding. Let's explore the enigmatic and terrifying character of Andrei Satur. Played by Kenneth Branagh, Satur is a complex antagonist whose brutal childhood and manipulations of time make him one of Nolan's most intriguing creations. So let's unravel Satur's backstory, his rise to power, and what makes him tick. In Tenet, Satur's origins are rooted in the grim and desolate city of Stalsk-12, a Soviet closed city used for secretive and often hazardous projects. This setting significantly shaped Satur's formative years, instilling in him a ruthless survival instinct and an unquenchable thirst for control. Growing up in such a harsh environment meant facing constant hardship and deprivation, experiences that forged his relentless drive for power and wealth. As Friedrich Nietzsche famously said, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." For Satur, this wasn't just a philosophy, it was his reality. Stalsk-12, with its toxic remnants of Soviet-era experiments and abandoned infrastructure, left Satur with a bleak worldview.
If I can't have you, no one else can.
The collapse of the Soviet Union led to the city's abandonment, plunging Satur into extreme poverty. This period of his life was marked by a desperate struggle for survival, which is reflected in his later actions and motivations. His rise from the ashes of Stalsk-12 to become a powerful oligarch is a testament to his cunning and ambition. The turning point in Satur's life came with the discovery of a piece of gold sent back from the future. This discovery wasn't just a stroke of luck, it was the catalyst that set him on a path out of poverty. The gold, marked with instructions from a future agency, gave Satur the means to amass wealth and power. More importantly, it connected him to this mysterious future agency that provided him with technology to manipulate time. This connection with the future agency is critical to understanding Satur's character. The agency, desperate to save their own timeline, relies on Satur to complete the algorithm, a device designed to reverse the entropy of the entire planet. Satur's terminal diagnosis of pancreatic cancer only fuels his apocalyptic ambitions. Facing his own mortality, he adopts a nihilistic philosophy. If he can't live, no one should. This belief drives his willingness to annihilate the world rather than succumb to his illness.
My home. One pod of a warhead exploded at ground level, scattering the others. They needed people to find the plutonium. became my first contract. Nobody else even bid. They thought it was a death sentence.
Albert Camus once remarked, "There is but one truly serious philosophical problem, and that is the S word." For Satur, this problem extends to the entire world. Satur's mastery over time inversion is showcased in several key scenes, notably during the Oslo Freeport heist. Here we see him use the turnstile to invert himself, creating a significant tactical advantage. The fight between the protagonist and Satur's inverted self is a masterclass in choreography and narrative complexity. By fighting backward, Satur leverages his future knowledge against the protagonist's present actions, embodying the film's intricate time manipulation themes. But Satur's true menace lies in his psychology. His upbringing in the harsh conditions of Stalsk 12 instilled in him a deep-seated need for control and a profound sense of nihilism. This is best illustrated by his relationship with Kat, his estranged wife.
If I can't have you, no one else can.
Satur's need to dominate and control her is a microcosm of his larger desire to control the world. His abuse and manipulation of Kat are not just personal vendettas, but reflect his broader worldview that everything and everyone must bend to his will. Understanding Satur's character requires delving into his psychological makeup. His actions are driven by a blend of narcissism and existential dread. Let's take a moment to compare Satur to other villains to understand how horrible he really is. We can start by comparing him to other villains like Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men, and the Joker as portrayed by Joaquin Phoenix. Who is Patrick Bateman from American Psycho? Patrick Bateman is a high-powered New York City investment banker by day and a brutal serial killer by night.
And the importance of trends, it's also a personal statement about the band itself. Hey, Paul!
His character explores the duality of man and the emptiness of consumer culture.
Because I want to fit in.
Bateman's actions are driven by a pathological need for control and power, masked by his outward appearance of normalcy. His violence is chaotic and personal, driven by his psychopathic urges and the thrill of the kill.
God, Patrick.
Hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe. In contrast, Satur's villainy is systemic and apocalyptic. Bateman's murders are impulsive, fueled by internal turmoil. Whereas Satur's actions are meticulously planned and serve a grander, more apocalyptic purpose. Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men is another fascinating character. Chigurh is a ruthless hitman with an eerie sense of fate. He operates with a personal code and believes in the randomness of life and death. His iconic coin tosses symbolize his belief in fate and chance, making his actions unpredictable and terrifying.
I need to know what I stand to win.
Everything.
How's that?
You stand to win everything, call it.
All right. Heads then.
Chigurh's philosophical approach to life and death, combined with his relentless pursuit, make him a compelling and terrifying figure. Satur, on the other hand, operates on a different philosophical plane. His actions are not about fate or randomness, but about control and finality. Where Chigurh sees life as a series of random events, Satur seeks to impose his will, ensuring that his life and death leave a lasting impact. Satur's villainy is deeply personal. It's about his life and his death.
No!
Whereas Chigurh's is detached, almost philosophical.
I ain't gonna call it.
Call it.
The coin don't have no say. It's just you.
And then we have the Joker, played by Joaquin Phoenix. This Joker is a product of societal neglect and personal trauma.
How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts. But you don't listen. Anyway, I said, for my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed.
His transformation from Arthur Fleck into the Joker is a descent into madness driven by societal failures, mental illness, and a desire for recognition. The Joker thrives on chaos and anarchy, believing that society is inherently corrupt and deserving of his wrath. Satur, however, isn't an agent of chaos. He represents order, albeit a destructive and nihilistic one. Let's now compare the protagonist to other iconic action heroes like Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible, Jason Bourne from the Bourne series, and John Wick to better understand what type of hero the protagonist really is. Now let's talk about Ethan Hunt. Portrayed by Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt is the face of the Mission Impossible series. He's known for his daring stunts, quick thinking, and ability to handle high-pressure situations. Remember the scene in Mission Impossible Fallout where he jumps out of a plane at 25,000 feet? Just another day at the office for Ethan. He's the quintessential action hero, combining physical prowess with sharp intelligence. Hunt often operates with a team and relies on advanced gadgets, which is a stark contrast to the protagonist, who frequently finds himself alone, relying on his wits and the mind-bending concept of time inversion. Tom Cruise is famous for performing his own stunts in the Mission Impossible series. This includes hanging off the side of an airplane during takeoff in Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, and performing a halo jump from 25,000 feet in Mission Impossible Fallout.
About Tom jumping out of a plane that's traveling at 165 miles an hour.
The commitment to authenticity adds a level of realism to Hunt's character that's truly unparalleled. Next, we have Jason Bourne, played by Matt Damon. Bourne is a former CIA assassin suffering from amnesia, and his journey to uncover his identity is filled with intense action and psychological depth. Bourne's struggle is deeply personal. He's trying to piece together who he is while being pursued by those who made him into a weapon. Both Bourne and the protagonist share a certain level of psychological complexity and operate in the shadows. However, Bourne's journey is introspective. He's driven by a need to understand himself.
No, you do remember. Don't you? I don't want to do this anymore. I don't think that's a decision you can make.
In contrast, the protagonist's motivations are outward focused. He's trying to save the world from a temporal apocalypse. While Bourne is haunted by his past, the protagonist is fixated on shaping the future.
Jason Bourne is dead. You hear me? He drowned 2 weeks ago. You're gonna go tell him that Jason Bourne is dead, you understand?
Where are you gonna go?
I swear to God, if I even feel somebody behind me, there is no measure to how fast and how hard I will bring this fight to your doorstep. I'm on my own side now.
For his role as Jason Bourne, Matt Damon underwent extensive physical training, including boxing, martial arts, and weapons training. He also worked with linguists to accurately portray Bourne's ability to speak multiple languages fluently. This dedication to the role helped Damon bring an authentic and deeply nuanced portrayal of Bourne's character to the screen. Finally, let's talk about John Wick, portrayed by Keanu Reeves. Wick is a former hitman who comes out of retirement to avenge the death of his beloved dog. His exceptional combat skills and relentless determination make him a formidable protagonist. Wick's world is dark and stylized, with a strong emphasis on hand-to-hand combat and a deep underworld of assassins. Both John Wick and the protagonist exhibit extraordinary combat skills and a singular focus on their mission. However, while Wick's journey is deeply personal and emotional, driven by love and loss,
When died, I lost everything. Until that dog arrived on my doorstep. A final gift from my wife. In that moment, I received some semblance of hope. An opportunity to grieve alone. And your son took that from me.
the protagonist's mission is more abstract and cerebral. Wick's world is one of personal vendettas and close-quarters combat, whereas the protagonist's battles often involve high-concept strategies and the manipulation of time. Let's review a comparison between Neil and Jason Todd, aka Robin from Batman, Under the Red Hood.
Said sit down. You wanna die? There's easier ways to kill yourself.
Yeah, like yelling at the guy who's holding the AK-47. Listen to me, you drug-peddling scumbags. I will be running the drug trade from now on. You go about your business as usual, but kick up 40% to me.
Yeah, he is a different kind of Robin. Buckle up. Both characters serve as crucial sidekicks, face dire fates, and leave lasting impacts on their respective stories. So let's break down their similarities, strengths, weaknesses, and psychological profiles, and see what makes their stories so compelling. Let's do a quick recap of Neil. He is the protagonist's trusted ally, providing guidance and support throughout their mind-bending mission. Neil's familiarity with time inversion and his calm demeanor under pressure highlight his strengths.
Not gonna like it. You want to crash a plane, but not from the air. That was so dramatic. I would have run a jet off the taxiway, breached the rear wall, and start a fire.
He operates with a deep understanding of the mission, often providing cryptic yet crucial advice to the protagonist. His loyalty and selflessness are evident, especially in the film's climax where he reveals his pivotal role in saving the world, knowing full well it leads to his own death.
This whole operation's a temporal pincer.
Whose?
Yours! You're only halfway there. I'll see you at the beginning, friend.
Neil's psychological strength lies in his acceptance of his fate. His unwavering commitment to the mission and the protagonist underscores a philosophical approach to time and destiny. Neil's calm acceptance of his own death is reminiscent of a soldier's duty, adding a layer of nobility to his character. This acceptance allows him to act with clarity and purpose, knowing his actions are part of a larger, intricate plan. As philosopher Albert Camus once said, "A man without ethics is a wild beast loosed upon this world." Neil's ethical commitment to his mission and the protagonist highlights his intrinsic nobility and dedication to the greater good. Now let's switch gears to Jason Todd, aka Robin from Batman, Under the Red Hood. Voiced by Jensen Ackles, Jason Todd is the second Robin, known for his brash and rebellious nature.
I'm controlling. I'm doing what you won't. I'm taking them out. It's too late. And I'm just getting started.
Jason's journey from Robin to the Red Hood is marked by tragedy. His brutal death at the hands of the Joker is a pivotal moment in the Batman series.
And what hurts more? A or B? Forehand or backhand?
Showcasing his vulnerability despite his fighting prowess, Jason's death is not just physical, it's psychological, as it leaves a profound impact on Batman, haunting him with guilt and loss. Jason Todd's strength as Robin lies in his fearless approach to crime fighting and his determination to prove himself. However, his impulsive nature often puts him in danger, leading to his downfall. His resurrection as the Red Hood brings a darker, more vengeful character driven by his desire to punish those he deems responsible for his suffering.
Bruce, I forgive you for not saving me. But why? Why on God's earth is he still alive?
Gotta give the boy points. He came all the way back from the dead to make this shindig happen.
This transformation highlights Jason's psychological struggle with identity, purpose, and his complex relationship with Batman. Friedrich Nietzsche's quote, "He who fights with monsters should be careful lest he thereby become a monster," perfectly encapsulates Jason's journey from Robin to the Red Hood. Comparing Neil and Jason, we see two characters deeply intertwined with their mentors, Neil with the protagonist and Jason with Batman. Both serve as loyal allies, yet their stories diverge significantly. Neil's journey is one of sacrifice and predetermined fate. His death, though tragic, is embraced with a sense of duty. In contrast, Jason's death is brutal and senseless, leading to a resurrection filled with anger and a quest for vengeance. A compelling similarity is how their deaths impact their mentors. Neil's death is a moment of profound realization for the protagonist, revealing the intricate and self-fulfilling nature of their mission.
We're the people saving the world from what might have been. The world would never know what could have happened. And even if they did, they wouldn't care. Because no one cares about the bomb that didn't go off.
It underscores the theme of sacrifice and the greater good. Jason's death, however, shatters Batman's world, filling him with guilt and driving a wedge between him and his remaining allies. Batman's struggle with Jason's death and resurrection as the Red Hood explores themes of failure, redemption, and the moral complexities of justice.
If it had been you that he'd beat to a bloody pulp, if he had taken you from this world, I would have done nothing but search the planet for this pathetic pile of evil death-worshipping garbage and send him off to hell.
You understand. I don't think you've ever understood.
What? What, your moral code just won't allow for that?
Just punch him!
It's too hard to cross that line?
No! God almighty, no! It'd be too damned easy.
Who hurt you?
Who hurt you? All I've ever wanted to do is kill him.
Yeah, Batman can get pretty dark, just saying.
A day doesn't go by when I don't think about subjecting him to every horrendous torture he's dealt out to others, and then end him.
And you.
Aw, so you do think about me.
Neil's acceptance of his fate and his role in the mission demonstrates a philosophical depth that aligns with existentialist thought. His understanding of the larger picture and his place within it highlights his psychological resilience. Neil's calm demeanor and strategic thinking are reminiscent of a soldier following orders for the greater good. His death, while tragic, is a testament to his unwavering commitment to the mission and the protagonist. As the film progresses, Neil's character reveals layers of complexity that make his eventual sacrifice all the more poignant. On the other hand, Jason Todd's transformation from Robin to the Red Hood is a tale of trauma and revenge. His brutal death at the hands of the Joker leaves him scarred, both physically and psychologically. Jason's resurrection is fueled by a desire for vengeance, leading him down a darker path. His impulsive nature and need for validation drive his actions, often putting him at odds with Batman. Jason's story explores the psychological impact of trauma and the struggle for identity in the face of overwhelming loss. His transformation into the Red Hood is a coping mechanism, a way to channel his pain into a mission for justice, albeit a twisted version of it. Given all the talk about time inversion, let's focus on the science and concept of time for a moment. Let's dive into the mind-bending world of time paradoxes and theories. Get ready to have your perception of time twisted in every direction. First up, we have the grandfather paradox. Imagine you have a time machine, and decide to travel back to the past to kill your grandfather before your parent is conceived. If you succeed, you wouldn't exist to travel back in the first place. This paradox challenges the very possibility of time travel, suggesting the need for alternate theories like the multiverse. In this view, each action creates a new, alternate timeline, avoiding the paradox altogether. Next, let's explore the bootstrap paradox. This occurs when an object or piece of information is sent back in time and becomes the cause of itself in the future. Picture this. A time traveler brings back a futuristic technology, which then becomes the blueprint for its own invention. This creates a circular causality loop, raising the question of the object's origin. The bootstrap paradox questions the very fabric of cause and effect. Now we come to the twin paradox, a concept from Einstein's theory of relativity. Imagine twins. One stays on Earth while the other travels to space at near light speed. When the spacefaring twin returns, they are younger than the Earthbound twin. This highlights the relative nature of time and introduces us to time dilation, where time passes at different rates under different conditions of speed and gravity. It's like watching two clocks tick at different speeds depending on where they are in the universe. Moving on, we have the block universe theory, also known as eternalism. This theory posits that past, present, and future events all exist simultaneously in a four-dimensional space-time block. Think of time as a landscape we move through, with every moment existing at once. This challenges our perception of time's flow and supports the idea that all events are fixed and unchangeable, much like how space is structured in relativity. Lastly, let's delve into the arrow of time. According to the second law of thermodynamics, entropy or disorder always increases in a closed system, giving time a direction from past to future. However, the fundamental laws of physics are time-symmetric, meaning they don't distinguish between past and future. This paradox suggests that the direction of time emerges from statistical tendencies rather than being an inherent property of the universe. Now let's dive into the intricate layers of meaning behind the title of TENET. At first glance, it might seem like just a catchy, mysterious name, but it's packed with symbolism and significance that mirror the film's complex narrative and themes. Let's break it down. First, TENET is a palindrome. It reads the same forwards and backwards. This perfectly aligns with the film's central concept of time inversion, where characters and events move both forward and in reverse. This palindromic structure isn't just a neat trick. It encapsulates the movie's exploration of nonlinear time. Nolan's narrative is a loop, mirroring the title's symmetry and the film's intertwined timelines. As philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "Time is a flat circle." This idea of eternal recurrence ties directly into the film's structure, where past and future events are endlessly interconnected. Next, we have the Satur square, an ancient word square featuring 5 Latin words: Satur, arepo, tenet, opera, rotus. Each can be read in multiple directions, emphasizing interconnectedness and cycles. In Tenet, this square is a key visual and thematic element, linking the title directly to this ancient puzzle and underscoring the film's intricate, interwoven plot. The Satur Square itself is a historical artifact dating back to the ruins of Pompeii, symbolizing the timeless and universal nature of the film's themes. By incorporating this ancient palindrome, Nolan bridges the past and future, much like the film's narrative bridges different points in time. Now let's talk about the Latin root. Tenet translates to he, she, it holds. This aligns with the film's themes of control and balance. The characters, especially the protagonist, strive to maintain the equilibrium of the universe, holding the line against forces that seek to disrupt the natural order. It's about control, perseverance, and maintaining stability amidst chaos.
Do it before the boy comes out.
That's your idea of mercy. You gave me your word.
And I told you then what it would be worth.
As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This notion of holding extends beyond physical control to encompass the character's philosophical and moral responsibilities. Philosophically, the title can imply a central principle or belief, a tenet. The protagonist's journey revolves around adhering to the principles of the TENET organization, embodying a mission to prevent global catastrophe.
Somebody talked. Who was it? Was it you? At every stage, you've known too much. I'm going to ask you again. Did you talk?
This adherence to a guiding principle underscores the existential stakes and moral weight of their mission, highlighting themes of duty, sacrifice, and the greater good. In a way, the protagonist's commitment to these principles is a reflection of humanity's broader struggle to uphold ethical standards in the face of overwhelming challenges. Immanuel Kant's idea that we should act according to the maxim that you wish all other rational beings to follow, as if it were a universal law, resonates deeply with the mission in TENET. Finally, consider the narrative structure. TENET reflects the film's need for coherence and integrity within its complex timeline. The protagonist must navigate and manipulate time, ensuring that events unfold as needed to prevent disaster. This idea of maintaining structural integrity, upholding core tenets, is crucial to the stability of both the film's plot and the universe it portrays. The meticulous planning and execution required mirror the meticulous attention to detail Nolan is known for in his filmmaking. Albert Einstein's assertion that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion encapsulates this complex relationship with time. So, TENET isn't just a title, it's a microcosm of the film's themes, structure, and philosophical depth. It's a palindrome representing time's duality, a nod to ancient puzzles, a principle of control, and a guide for narrative integrity. Now, changing gears slightly, let's now reflect on how the algorithm in the film can be seen as a symbol of the debate over free will versus determinism. First, let's talk about the algorithm itself. In TENET, the algorithm is a doomsday device capable of reversing the entropy of the entire planet. This catastrophic power mirrors the philosophical question of whether our actions are predestined or if we truly have the freedom to choose. Philosopher David Hume once said, "It is seldom that liberty of any kind is lost all at once." This quote encapsulates the slow erosion of free will, suggesting that the loss of freedom is a gradual process influenced by various external factors. In the context of TENET, the character's efforts to prevent the algorithm from falling into the wrong hands represent the fight to preserve their autonomy and avoid a predetermined outcome. From a scientific perspective, consider the words of physicist Brian Greene. If you know the present precisely, you can predict the future. This view aligns with the concept of determinism, where the future is as fixed and unchangeable as the past. In TENET, the ability to move backward and forward in time challenges our traditional understanding of free will. Are the characters making choices, or are they merely following a script written by the fabric of time itself? The algorithm then can be seen as a metaphor for this deterministic universe. The characters struggle to influence their destiny by manipulating time, and preventing global catastrophe reflects humanity's broader struggle to assert free will in a universe that may be governed by fixed laws. As Friedrich Nietzsche pondered, what if a demon were to creep after you one day in your loneliest loneliness and say, "This life as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more and innumerable times more." This idea of eternal recurrence forces us to confront the possibility that our lives are on a loop, replaying endlessly without deviation.
Chuckers, it's Groundhog Day! Get up and check that hog out there! Yeah! Ooey, come here, Groundhog!
What the hell?
Let's expand this concept by looking at other films that delve into the theme of free will. The Truman Show, directed by Peter Weir, stars Jim Carrey as Truman Burbank, a man who unknowingly lives his entire life on a reality TV show.
5,000.
I believe Truman is the first child to have been legally adopted by a corporation.
That's correct.
Brilliant.
What if everyone you knew was pretending?
Hi, honey. Look what I got at the checkout. Dishwasher safe.
That's amazing.
What if your world was make-believe?
Truman's journey of self-discovery and his quest for freedom from the artificial world created around him is a powerful exploration of free will. The film raises questions about the nature of reality and the extent to which our lives are controlled by external forces. Like the characters in Tenet, Truman fights to reclaim his autonomy, breaking free from a life scripted by others.
Give me some light.
Is that the best you can do? Cut transmission!
Similarly, Donnie Darko, directed by Richard Kelly, stars Jake Gyllenhaal as a troubled teenager who starts having visions of a man in a rabbit suit who tells him the world will end in
28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds.
The film explores themes of destiny and free will through its complex narrative involving time travel, mental illness, and alternate realities. Donnie's actions leave viewers to ponder whether they are predestined or freely chosen. In both Tenet and Donnie Darko, the protagonists grapple with their ability to influence their futures in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds.
The search for God is absurd.
It is if everyone dies alone.
Does that scare you?
I don't want to be alone.
Then there's Minority Report, directed by Steven Spielberg and based on a story by Philip K. Dick. The film stars Tom Cruise as John Anderton, a cop in a future where a pre-crime unit arrests criminals before they commit their crimes, based on foreknowledge provided by psychics.
The images that they produce.
We see what they see.
There hasn't been a murder in 6 years. There's nothing wrong with the system. It is perfect.
The movie challenges the idea of predetermined destiny versus free will, as the protagonist struggles to prove his innocence for a crime he has not yet committed. It questions whether the future can be changed if it is known in advance, a theme that resonates with the time-bending narrative of Tenet. The Matrix, directed by the Wachowskis, stars Keanu Reeves as Neo, a hacker who discovers that reality is a simulated construct controlled by intelligent machines. The Matrix challenges the notion of free will by depicting a world where humans are unknowingly trapped in a predetermined existence.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Say no, just say no.
Neo's journey to break free from the Matrix and embrace his true potential parallels the struggle in Tenet to break free from the constraints of time and determinism. So what does this all mean? The algorithm in Tenet isn't just a plot device, it's a symbol of the profound philosophical debate over free will and determinism. The characters' attempts to control their fate by mastering time echo our own desires to break free from the chains of predestination. Whether you believe in free will or think our paths are set in stone, one thing's for sure, Tenet gives us plenty to think about. If this narrative resonated with you, do support us. Hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe. Thank you for staying with us to the end. See you in the next video on Plaid Chronicles.